And the broad goal, the biggest goal we have is to increase the college going rate and college degree attainment rate of students in the Chicago Public Schools. So we're all about really trying to change the national landscape around college access and college degree attainment. So that's pretty much the ultimate goal. And we're unlike a lot of centers across the country, and because we work with the parents, the teachers, and the students at the same time. So everything sort of comes together, because you can't really do one without the other if you really want to get to those goals. We work in about 100 schools right now. A little under 30 of them are high schools, the rest are middle schools and elementary schools, and we serve well over 15,000 students and their families. So it's a pretty big outreach arm. When we first were founded almost 35 years ago, which is a long time ago, probably before some of you were even born, but there was the founding director. There have been two directors of the center, the founding director and me. So over that 35-year span, only two people in the leadership role, which means there's some real nice continuity around it. And there were 10 centers that got set up in 1978. So there were 10 of them across the country, and they were founded with about a $100,000 grant at the time. Now, there's only one center left of those original 10 that were set up across the country. And the reason for that is we've evolved over time, and we really started raising other kinds of grant funds, diversifying where we get our money from. And so we were able over time to grow the place in a way that I think others, maybe they were settling into one kind of money coming in. If you do that and you don't diversify those funding pots, you can't last. So, and we also really grew in terms of what we do. We started out only working with teachers, and I'm going to show you the resource center when I walk around, when we take the tour. A resource center that was just for teachers at the time, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, even 25 years ago, schools weren't open past 2:30. The schools closed, and so teachers really couldn't work on their lesson plans, or it was elementary school setting up their bulletin boards, all those kinds of things that were really important. There was no place for them to do that. So the resource center was a place that they could come and do that after school. And so we're open till 8 o'clock at night. We're open on Saturdays. I mean, of course, we've evolved in the resource center to not just doing bulletin boards and letter presses, but at the time it was a very important role to play. So teachers came from all over. And it was also a way to build community. So teachers could dialogue with each other about their lessons, how they wanted to grow it, etc. So it was a way to bring people together, not working, teachers work often in their classrooms alone, so to be able to come together and talk about best practices. So fast forward to where we are now, still doing all the kind of work with teachers, but a lot of things with students and with families. So a lot of middle-class families, when it's time to choose colleges, etc., they're getting their kids in the cars and going off and checking things out when they're in their sophomore and junior year. In some of the schools we work in and communities we work in, that's not something that is going to come easily. For one, there may not have been a parent that went to college, might not understand what's required. But the one thing that we believe here is that every parent wants their child to succeed, no matter what the situation. So if there's a language challenge, or if there's not having gone to school here in this country and not understanding all the steps, the bottom line is every parent, no matter what the situation, wants their kid ultimately to succeed and believes in them. And so we don't do anything from a deficit model. It's all about you can go, and we're going to figure out a way to get you there. We're going to figure out how to raise the money. There's financial aid available. If there isn't financial aid available, we work with a lot of undocumented students. Can't get federal financial aid, we look for other kinds of scholarship dollars to support those students as well. So that's kind of the center in a nutshell. We take them on college visits, so parents and kids go together on buses to visit all the colleges. Some of the things that we never expected was that our parents decide they want to go back to school. So their child might be in 7th or 8th grade or 9th grade, and they're like, wow, I can do this. I mean, some of them finish their GED, some of them already have a high school diploma, go to community college, some go on to a 4-year, and we have many, many stories of a parent talking about their daughter or their son sitting at the kitchen table doing their homework together because the parent decided to go back. I don't know what the number is, but many of our parents have gotten bachelor's degrees. We have a few that have master's degrees, and we have one in the doctoral program. And this all began with a parent that had just finished high school. So you can kind of talk, that's a broad impact when you talk about, and education being the gateway to opportunity. If we can start to increase the number of students that walk in the door, and then you can increase the number of students that actually ultimately get a degree. So that's it's a pretty fun place. We have 85 full-time staff that work here, and over 200 part-time staff. We hire tutors, college students, as tutors to work in all the different schools across the city. We like that best. For one, it helps the student raise some money so that they can stay in school because we want to hit those degree attainment rates. It's also a really nice connection because many of the students we serve at Northeastern have come from the same high schools that we currently serve, so the students are absolutely amazing role models, right, for the younger ones coming up. So that's sort of what we do. And we hire parents too, I should say that, because we've hired parent advocates from the community. We believe not only in increasing just the graduation rate and a 2 or 3 year cohort of students, but parents have younger kids. So if you can work with a set of kids and with the families, you can impact the kids that are 2 years old, 3 years old, 5 years old, etc. And the parents, we figure they're the best to work with other families in the community because they see each other in the grocery store or in the church or in an after-school kind of program, whatever the case may be. And so we work with them. We hire them, and they work 15 to 20 hours a week in the different communities that we serve all over. And we do most of our programming in at least 2 languages. And in cases like in Uptown, we may have to have multiple languages spoken. So we go as far south as Englewood, Roseland. Any further south than that, Dan? It's about as far south as we go, I think. And we're way up north, up past Northeastern, and we work on the west side. So they're really, and in Cicero and Berwyn for that matter. So there isn't really a community that we aren't out there working in. So any questions? Yeah?
Have you been in this building for 35 years?
No. We started out as this little resource center. It was on campus in the beginning, and some of you, I don't know how long people have been at Northeastern, but the founding director's name was Gary Olson. He was a faculty member on campus, wrote this grant. So it started as a resource center on campus, and then it got moved, this was before I was here, it got moved and put into a private girls' school, which was called Alvernia High School, which has now become Thurgood Marshall Middle School, a Chicago public school. So when I show you the resource center, I can kind of give you a feel of what it kind of looked like back then. We've been here for, I think, almost 15 years now. More than that? How much, Dan?
I think it's been about 20. I mean, I've been here 15 years, and this is where I started.
Okay. And it's a pretty nice place. It's a welcoming place for teachers, and for all of you, I hope too. The idea is when people come after a hard day at work and we do professional development, it's really nice for them to be in a professional place that we all serve some kind of food or coffee or tea or something. So if they've worked all day, we respect the fact that they're coming and now going to be doing something till 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And so as I walk you through the place, you'll see that it really is about community among the staff too. So we'll take the tour.